Hi folks, tonight we're going to go back in time to the 60s, actually to the 50s and the 60s, the beginnings of the great beat scene. And I'm going to read what's been probably my most read poem, my most known poem, called Greenwich Village of My Dreams. See, in those days, we really dressed well. And we had the right ideas. This book was, The Beat Scene, was printed in 1960. And Ann Charters put out a book just a few years ago called The Beat Reader, which has a copy of this also. And here's a scene from the village. At that time, it's myself and my wife Sylvia and two other people whose name I forget. And they're coming out of the Gaslight, which was a place where people performed music and poetry on McDougal Street between Bleecker and West 3rd, is it? Anyway. Greenwich Village of My Dreams. I'm going to have to explain a lot of this, so be patient. A rose in a stone. Chariots on the West Side Highway. Blues in the Soviet Union. Onions in Times Square. A Japanese in Chinatown. A soup sandwich. A Hudson Terraplane. Hudson was a car brand. Terraplane was their supermodel. Chess in a Catskill bungalow. We used to go to the Catskills in a Coquelin, cook for yourself. And the wife would go up with the kids, and on the weekends the husbands would come on the fish train, it was called, for the poor fish who had to work all week in the terrible New York City. Awnings in Atlanta. Lewiston Stadium in the blackout for the war. Lewiston Stadium was the performance, a beautiful performance venue at the City College campus uptown.
Open air, right?
Open air. And they had beautiful concerts. They had an annual Gershwin concert.
Beethoven too.
Where I took on my first date, I took my girlfriend there. Brooklyn, beneath the East River, the waves pass over. I went to Brooklyn College, and I'll never forget that. The Battery in startling sunlight. Klein's in Orbach's. These were two department stores on Union Square. Klein's was the cheap one, where my mother used to sometimes send me back with clothing that she'd worn for one occasion, and Orbach's to get to get the money back. Orbach's was across the street, a little higher class. Love on the Dole. Roosevelt, not elected. Hoover, under the 3rd Avenue L. 5 minutes? Oh, we got to speed this up.
Well, you can just keep
Joe
going.
Gould kissing Maxwell Bodenheim. Joe Gould, who allegedly kept a diary that he never did. And he said, he's famous, in the winter, I'm a Buddhist. In the summer, I'm a nudist. Maxwell Bodenheim, a crazy, wonderful poet from Chicago, got stabbed to death. Maxwell Bodenheim, puffing on his pipe, used to write, compose poems, especially for you. They were all the same. Edna Millay, feeling Edmund Wilson. Charlie Parker and Ted Jones talking in Sheridan Square Park. And it's cold, man. The Cedar Street Bar with cedars in it. And autos crashing against the cedars. The Chase Manhattan Bank closed down for repairs to open as a new Waldorf cafeteria. That's where you could sit all night and get free tea with mustard. No, free tea with ketchup. Lionel Trilling kissing Allen Ginsberg after great reading in The Gaslight. The Limelight changes its name to the Electric Light. That was on 7th Avenue. What was his name? The famous radio guy. Changes its name to the Electric Light and features Charlie Chaplin and a swinging waiter. Edgar Allan Poe becomes the dentist in the Waverly Dispensary and giving everyone a free nitrous oxide high. Never take nitrous oxide. You fall asleep. You don't breathe oxygen and you die. But there was this free clinic near Sheridan Square. Louis getting thrown out of Louis. Terrible bar. San Remo stepping up to the bar and asking for a wet martini. The Charleston on Charles Street, featuring my sister Eileen and the Kronstadt Sailors. You all know about Kronstadt, where the Stalinists and the anarchists killed each other on the icy lake. The anarchists lost. The Stalinists won, but what did they win? Max Eastman and John Reed buying Gungawala hashish candy at the German delicatessen on 6th Avenue and West 4th Street. Tourists bringing pictures to sell to artists in their annual disposition. Civilians telling cops to move on, move on, move on. Coffee houses that sell brandy in their coffee cups. Eugene Neal, that noted alcoholic, insisting on coffee. John Barrymore in Off-Broadway Hamlet. Barrymore lived rent-free on it's okay, we have enough time. John Barrymore lived free rent, a noblest, obliging landlord on Washington Square South.
Lucky.
And he had a garden on the top of the roof, and he watered it plentifully, and one day it fell down into his apartment, complete apartment. Walt Whitman cruising on McDougal. Ike and Mamie, the Eisenhowers. Drunk in Minetta's. I think Minetta is still there. On McDougal, yeah. Khrushchev